Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to change the approach that I usually do. So I usually post videos on learning in mathematics, statistics, computer science. But I felt that it's necessary for me to share these hints with you, which is basically how to smartly apply for a PhD program or a graduate program in general. So there are some common mistakes that we usually do when we are targeting, like when we are planning to apply for a graduate program. I'm going to share some of the mistakes that I did and how you can overcome those mistakes to successfully apply for your graduate study. So the first thing is which program to consider. So the reason is we usually target very big school, like school that have high ranks, school that have national reputation, like Stanford, MIT, Harvard, University of Berkeley. But to be honest, those schools are very competitive. So don't get me wrong, you can get admission to those schools, but when applying for the program, you don't want to waste some years waiting for the next year to apply again, because at the end what matters the most for me is what type of research you can what type of research product you can produce. Let's say someone go to a school like Yale, another person go to like an average school, but publish at the top conferences. I think they have the same value, because at the end we want to contribute to the field. So if you go to like an average school but still do like a decent work, do some like a very good publication, people will still respect you for that. So you can get to the big school, but you don't have to get there to contribute to the science. So that's the word. So here's what to do. So to consider, when you are considering for the school, the first thing to do is you should look for the rank of the school. So first, you check at some school that you are considering for your graduate study, and then you look at the rank of the school. You are going to choose some of the schools that have a very high rank, then choose some of the schools that have an average rank. The reason is, if you don't get admission to the high ranked school, you can still get admission to the average one. Now, when you consider the rank, you also have to look at the rank of the field that you are trying to enroll in. So, for example, some school may have a like very high rank in like very national high rank, but have a very low rank or an average rank in some field. Let's pick the case of Yale University, for instance. In computer science, Yale is a very good school, but in computer science, the rank is not that good compared to the University of Berkeley, which is very good in computer science. So that's just one example. So you have to look at the rank of the school and also look at the rank of the field that you are trying to enroll in. So these are the two things that you should consider. Now, when you are settled that, okay, I'm considering this school, the next thing to do is the recommendation letters. So the recommendation letter is basically a professor or whatever, your professor for undergraduate or for the master, will write a recommendation for you saying that, okay, I know this school student very well, I know he can do this, he can perform this way, and so on. So you want to be very careful on who you choose to be your recommender. The reason is usually because we want to meet the requirement. Usually some school require 3 letter recommendation or 4 letter recommendation. We just want to meet that requirement. So what we do is we just run away everywhere and pick whatever person that we see and say, okay, please can you write a recommendation letter for me? That's the worst case scenario. That's the worst mistake that you can do. So what you have to do is you have to look at your professor and say, okay, I took this class with this professor, or I did this work with this professor and I did well on that work. So you want to consider only professor that you did very good on the work that they gave to you, or the professor that you took their classes and you did very well on those classes. So those professor will write a very good recommendation letter for you. This is just my intuition, because when you recommend someone, we want to make sure that that person that you recommended is doing well in the program. Because if you go there and perform poorly, the people in the program will say, oh, this professor recommended this student, but this student was a very bad student, so we don't want to take a student from this professor again in the future. So that's one hint. So they want to make sure that they put on the recommendation letter what they really know about you. So if you're not that good, they will put there that, oh, this student is not that good, and that will kill you on the application process. because it's a competition, it's a game. You want to win the game, so you have to play smart and find a way to win the game. That's the key. So that's the point of recommendation letter. So you want to make sure that you only pick professor that know well about you and that can write a very good recommendation letter for you for that program. So that was the second aspect. The third aspect is about the GRE score. It depends on the program. Some program may require GRE, some may require I think it's MCAT something. It depends. For medical school, it's totally different. But I'm talking about general PhD program. Some schools don't even require the GRE, but the majority of the PhD or the graduate program require the GRE score. So you want to make sure you start taking the GRE ahead of time. The reason is, if you don't perform well on your score, on your GRE, you can always retake the exam until you get a good score. And you will only present to the school the score that you know, okay, this score is good, it's a competitive score, and then you present that one to the school. And there's different way of preparing for the GRE. There's some online learning that propose that teach you can pay to learn, or you can pay to prepare for the GRE. But what I did, I just bought the book and prepared by myself. So you can use that option if you can learn by yourself, or you can choose to register for some online courses for preparation, then take the exam when you the test when you are ready. So, and always make sure that you report your best score for in the application process. So that's the third aspect. The last aspect that I'm going to talk about is the funding issue, because the master program can take 2 years, right? And the PhD program, it can go from 3 years, depending on the school, to the program, to 6 or 8 years. It depends on the program that you are choose, and on how well, also how fast you are going to progress in the program. So you don't want to get in the program and say, okay, this program is for 5 years, then after 2 years they tell you they don't have the funding. You don't want that to happen. So you have to take time to read about how long the school support about with the funding, and how what are the requirements for the funding support. You want to really take time to read that, because some school only support PhD student or grad student for 2 years, and then the next of the years you have to find the way for you have to find a way to support yourself. So this can range from writing funding. You can write like funding document. You can search for funding basically, or you can maybe if you are already complete your courses, search for a job somewhere. It really depends. But if you want to only focus on your study, you want to consider only program that support you for the entire curriculum of the PhD or the master program. So for that, my hint is based on my own experience, schools that have a very large program in a specific field, they tend to have more funding available. So when you are looking for a school, also look at the school that have a very large program. So your chances of getting the funding on those schools is very, very high. For example, the first year that I applied for the PhD program, I was admitted to one program which was a very good program, but I didn't have the funding for that. So I didn't go for that year, but the next year I changed the strategy and then applied for a variety of programs, applying the technique that I'm sharing with you. And I was lucky enough, I got admission to some of them, and one offered me like full scholarship for my entire program. So that's what I did. And I think this can be applicable to you if you play that game smart. And because paying out of pocket is not always easy, you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that you only target very, very specifically selected school program that will give you the possibility of funding, and so you can keep a mind quiet and study for your program and do your research in the correct way. So that was the hints that I had to share with you about some strategy that you can use to apply for a graduate study. This can apply to different fields, and hopefully this video will help you or guide you on this process, and good luck on your journey. So I assume that if you're watching this video, if you watch until the end, that means you're interested in enrolling in the graduate program, and it's a very, very, very rewarding journey, because you are going to contribute to the field. You're going to get to know, learn a lot of things. Even though it's not always straightforward that you learn from school, you can always learn new skill or anything online, like I do all the time. I learn a lot of things online. so you can always learn online. But the difference from the online learning at the school setting, in the school setting, is that in the school setting you have some guideline, or you have some deadline to meet, and that push you to learn faster than sometimes when you are learning by yourself. This is just my experience. You can have a different experience of that for that. So that's what I had to share today. And please, if you have any question or any concern about this journey, please put the comment below so that I will make another video about that. And my next video, I will try to make another video on how to survive in the program, and more video will be coming in a different field, because I also post video, as I said, I post video in mathematics, in statistics. I already have some video in mathematics, some concept in mathematics, discrete mathematics, calculus, and also some analysis using R, particularly principal component analysis, that I already have there. I'm going to, the next few weeks, I'm going to be posting video in machine learning. I'm going to create some content in machine learning. So please subscribe to this channel, and I guarantee you will learn a lot from this channel. I will post like a lot of content in machine learning, because I'm also in the field. I'm working in machine learning, so I guarantee I will share some of my knowledge with you, so that we can both grow as a community and help the world better themselves. So thank you, and hopefully see you on the next video. Share this video with your friend, and see you in the next video. Thank you.